Hello everyone. Because we're going to be looking at how floodplains impact urban development, I want to provide an example of how urban planning can be used effectively to control and mitigate flooding. I'm standing in front of Henry Sturm Creek in Kitchener. The Henry Sturm Creek is part of Kitchener's stormwater management system. The creek flows for several kilometers through the city and empties in Victoria Park Lake near Kitchener's downtown core. As you can see behind me, Henry Sturm Creek looks like a natural river meandering through the landscape. However, the creek has undergone some major transformations over the years. Originally, the creek looked like this. And in fact, the majority of the stormwater systems look like this, straight concrete aqueducts. The thinking behind this was to move large quantities of water quickly to prevent flooding. However, this approach proved to be less than effective. So about 10 years ago, Kitchener began to tear the concrete aqueducts out and renaturalize them. Why would the city of Kitchener do this? It turns out that naturalized streams, creeks, and rivers are better at reducing the risk of flooding. How, you might ask? First, concrete banks are impermeable, which means water can't be absorbed, meaning that the water in the aqueduct has no place to go. It's like a road or any other paved surface. But when you restore the banks of the waterway with soil, you create a permeable surface that will absorb the rainwater, reducing the amount of water that is in the aqueduct. This then also reduces the amount of water that would cause a flood. Second, by naturalizing waterways, you slow down the flow of water, since natural waterways create curved paths as the water follows the natural lay of the land. And as the flow of water slows, it has more time to be absorbed into the surrounding banks and even evaporate. Third, with naturalization, you tend to have buildings further away from the waterways. So even during a heavy rainfall, homes and businesses are less likely to be affected by potential floodwaters. Of course, there are other benefits. With naturalized waterways, you can establish a healthy ecosystem by increasing the biodiversity of the area. With the return of indigenous plant life, you quickly have the return of a variety of animal species. With concrete aqueducts, you create a sterile environment where only sad, sickly weeds claw their way through the occasional crack. Many other jurisdictions, including Cambridge, are implementing measures to address flooding. This will be increasingly important as the population of Southern Ontario continues to grow and more people live on floodplains. And as we continue to experience more extreme weather events, understanding and restoring land in our floodplains will continue to take on a growing urgency. What you're looking at is Victoria Lake, which is an artificial lake that collects rainwater from Henry Sturm Creek. As the water from Henry Sturm Creek enters Victoria Lake, the sediment the creek has collected is deposited in the forebay. To prevent the sediment from entering the lake, a naturalized weir with local plants acts as a barrier. The clean water continues to fill the lake. As the lake fills, the excess water empties out of the lake and continues to flow into the Grand River.